So welcome to all of you Shiksha 360. Today basically we will discuss BF MCQ series set number 8, and that is basically belong from chapter number 3. And in this session basically we have to discuss 10 to 12 questions. 10 to 12 questions are some important points. Along with that basically we have to discuss one case study. So let's start our discussion. This type of question basically you will find in the examination. Clear? Just simple thing they are asking. This is a case. In that basically they've given you a scenario. Clear? Basically they have given you a scenario. On the basis of that basically we have to answer our questions. Clear? So let's start our discussion. So first of all, what they say that basically in the January 2010, clear, we have to understand what they want to say. That basically Rohan, a resident of Mumbai, clear, basically Rohan is a resident of Mumbai, was offered a job in Muscat by a construction company as a senior civil engineer, basically on a 2-year job contract. Clear? So basically in 2010, basically Rohan, a resident of Mumbai, got a job basically by a construction company in any other country. Clear? As an engineer on a 2-year contract job. Clear? So before that, basically that person was a resident of India. Before that, Rohan was a resident of India. Okay. So he left India on 15th of February 2010 after completing visa formalities. Clear? When he left India, basically he left India on 15th of February 2010 after completing visa formalities and joined the company in Muscat on 18th of February 2010. Clear? And when they joined the company in Muscat, basically on 18th of February 2010, his family joined him in May. Okay. So after 3 months, his family also joined him. So he worked with the company till March 2012. Clear? So in the meanwhile, that Rohan becomes NRI because that person lives more than 182 days in the Muscat. Clear? In the meanwhile, clear? And returned back to India. Clear? Basically, he worked there basically for 2 years till March 2012 and returned back to India basically with the bag and package. In May 2012, he joined a large construction company in Mumbai. Clear? Basically in May 2012, basically he joined a large construction company basically in Mumbai, which also undertook large construction projects at overseas centers. Clear? Basically which also undertook large construction centers, large construction projects basically at overseas centers. He was posted at one of the local construction sites initially. Clear? That is basically in the Mumbai. But in October 2013, clear, basically that person returned in March 2012. And in the meanwhile, that person basically residing in India till October 2013. It means that that person caused the status of the resident. Sorry, not non-resident, because they have to live in the previous financial year. Okay. So he was posted at one of the local construction sites initially, but in October 2013, he was deputed. Clear? Basically, but in October 2013, basically he was deputed to a hotel construction site. Clear? Basically, he was deputed to a hotel construction site in Moscow. Clear? By his employers. Clear? So basically March 2012, basically that person is returned to India. So till December 2012, basically that person is residing in India. Clear? Even till October 2013. So that person again basically got the status of the resident of India. Okay, resident of India. Clear? Basically, but that person has some funds basically in the foreign currency also. Clear? Because Rohan worked basically 2 years in any foreign country. So he was deputed. Clear? Later on, basically he was deputed to a hotel construction site in Moscow by his employers. He stayed in Moscow basically for a year and returned in November 2014. Clear? Basically he stayed in Moscow basically for a year and returned in November 2014 basically on completion of the project work. On returning India, he resigned from the company. Clear? Basically on returning India, basically he resigned from the company to go to Riyadh for taking up another job. Clear? Later on, basically that person resigned and go to basically another country basically for taking up another job. He left for Riyadh. Clear? Basically, he left for Riyadh in the meanwhile in December 2014 and got a job with a large company immediately and continue to be there until now. Okay. So please tell fast. All of you are able to understand the scenario, basically what they want to say that. Clear? Here just they are asking basically what are the different types of question, basically which account at that time basically the person will open. Clear? These are the different types of question basically we will expect from that. So in the examination, what you have to do directly, either you have to go towards the questions and after that, or first of all, you have to go through this case. Okay, so little bit understanding basically you will get here. Next, he had falling accounts in the India. Clear? Basically that person have basically falling accounts in the India. First one is saving bank account basically with the XYZ bank opened in 2008. Clear? That person at that time basically it is a resident of India. Clear? So normal saving account basically will be opened. Next one is saving bank account with XYZ bank opened in 2010, basically from the monies sent from Muscat used for payment of monthly sustenance of to his old parents in India. Clear? Basically for whom? Basically to his old parents in India. Clear? That is basically funds is remitted from outside India. Clear? Basically in that account, basically funds is remitted from outside India, basically for their family help. Clear? That is basically we can say that non-resident NRE account. Clear? NRE account basically is in that account basically fund is remitted from outside India. Or term deposit. Clear? Basically they have also maintained a term deposit with the foreign bank in India made of the fund basically received by selling his ancestral property in Goa. Clear? By selling his ancestral property basically in Goa. Last one here, that is term deposit account with an ABC bank for $5,000 sent from Muscat when he received his annual bonus. Clear? Basically when he received his annual bonus. Clear? Term deposit account basically with an ABC bank for $5,000 sent from Muscat basically when he received his annual bonus. Clear? When he received his annual bonus. Clear? So these are the four things. Clear? That is term deposit. That is basically, this is basically FCNR account. Clear? Because term deposit has to be maintained in the foreign currency. Clear? Term deposit basically has to be maintained in the foreign currency. Clear? So please tell fast now. It is clear to all of you up to this much point what the scenario is going on. Please respond fast. Only after that basically we will move towards the question. What is the scenario is going on? How they will ask different types of question? How I am identifying basically what type of account basically they will open at that time. Please respond fast. This type of question basically you will find in the examination. Just what they are saying, that just understanding of the accounts. Clear? Basically what type of account basically will they have to open. Clear? Now move to the directly towards the question. So until March 2012, what do we call the saving account of Rohan? Clear? Basically until March 2012, what do we call the saving account of Rohan with XYZ bank basically opened in 2010. Clear? Basically they have opened account in 2010. Clear? This one account. So what name basically we have to given this account? First one is the NRE account. Second one is the NRO saving account, NRE saving account, FCNRB saving account. Clear? FCNRB saving account. Clear? So I request to all of you, please tell what is the correct answer. NRE account, NRO saving account, NRE saving account, or FCNR saving account. Clear? So basically in this account, what Rohan will do, basically in this account, basically what Rohan will do, they will do external remittance. Clear? They will do remittance basically from the other country. Clear? From the another country. I have already tell you basically in the NRE, non-resident external rupee account. That is basically when funds is coming from the foreign country. Clear? Basically, funds is coming from the another country. Clear? When funds is coming from the another country, that is basically known as the NRE account. Clear? Basically, that is known as the NRE account. Clear? So until March 2012, basically what we to call the saving account of Rohan, basically with XYZ Bank, opened in 2010. Clear? NRE account, NRO saving account, NRE saving account, or FCNRB saving account. Clear? So that it is to basically known as the NRE saving account, because that account is to be opened by the Rohan. Basically for what? This is basically for what? Basically for the saving a bank account with the XYZ Bank, opened in 2010, basically from the money sent from the Muscat. Clear? Basically for what? Basically for their parents. Clear? Basically for their parents. Clear? That money is to be sent basically for their parents in India. Clear? So option number C is the correct answer. Clear? Option number C is the correct answer here. Okay, NRE, non-resident external rupee account. Clear? In that basically funds is to be received from the foreign. Now move to the next question, question number 10. So what was the status of the Rohan? What was the status of the Rohan during May 2012 and May 2013? Clear? Because Rohan returned into India basically in the March 2012. Clear? Basically Rohan returned to the India basically in March 2012. Clear? So what was the status of the Rohan basically during March 2012 and May 2013? No, returning resident Indian, non-resident Indian, temporary resident Indian, or a resident Indian. Clear? Or a resident Indian. Clear? So what was the status of the Rohan during May 2012 and May 2013? Returning resident Indian, non-resident Indian, temporary resident Indian, or a resident Indian. So basically, when he comes to India, clear? Basically, when he comes to India, so his non-resident status. Clear? So his non-resident status. His non-resident status basically changed into resident status. Clear? Basically changed into resident status. Clear? So basically returning resident Indian, non-resident Indian, temporary resident Indian, or resident Indian. Clear? So the correct answer here is to be resident Indian. Clear? So in this case, the correct answer here is to be resident Indian. Now move to the next question. What would we call the term deposit account of Rohan with the foreign bank during his stay in India? Clear? Basically, what would we call the term deposit account of Rohan with the foreign bank? Clear? That account basically with the foreign bank during his stay in India. Clear? Basically during his stay in India. And that foreign bank, clear? Basically it is also in India. Clear? Basically that is foreign bank. Basically it is also in India. Okay. Because they are mentioning here with the foreign bank in India. Clear? Basically with the foreign bank in India. So ordinary resident term deposit account, NRO account, domestic term deposit account, NRE account. Clear? Because when the person is residing in India, clear? Basically when the person is residing in India and they have getting the resident Indian status, clear? Because that person is not going foreign country, clear? Basically for the last sometimes. Okay, so that account it is to be considered as the domestic term deposit account. Clear? That account basically it is to be treated as the domestic term deposit account. Clear? So option number C is the answer here. Clear? Option number C is the answer here. In that case, basically what is the answer? Option number C is the correct answer here. Now move to the last question of this. Basically, what would we call the deposit of Rohan basically made in dollar when opened? So what would we call the deposit? And that deposit basically means that the term deposit. Clear? So what do we call the deposit of Rohan basically made in dollar basically when opened? RFC account, FCNR account, non-resident foreign currency account, NRE account. Clear? Basically NRE account. Clear? So what is the correct answer of this question? Clear? So what would we call the deposit of Rohan basically made in dollar when opened. Clear? Basically made in dollar. Basically when that account is to be opened. First one is the RFC account. Second one is the FCNR account. Third one is the non-resident foreign currency account. Fourth one is the NRE account. Clear? Fourth one is the NRE account. Clear? So what is the correct answer of this question? So basically that is to be maintained in the foreign currency. Clear? So that is to be known as the FCNR account. Clear? So that it is to be basically known as the FCNR account. Clear? So this one is the answer. So here one account is come, basically one new word is come, that is RFC account. Clear? RFC account. Clear? So can anyone tell basically what is the meaning of the RFC account? Can anyone tell basically which account is the RFC account here? Please respond fast if anyone know basically which account is the RFC account. Clear? RFC account basically that is resident foreign currency account. Clear? That is resident foreign currency account. Clear? So let's discuss what is an RFC account. Clear? So RFC basically an RFC that is resident foreign currency saving account. Clear? Basically RFC basically it is a resident foreign currency saving account. Basically it is a saving account maintained in foreign currency. Clear? Basically it is a saving account that is maintained in foreign currency, that is basically either in USD or GBP. Basically for those NRIs, clear, basically who have returned to India. Clear? Basically that person have returned to India. We can say that, or permanently returned to India or returned to India, and holds funds in the foreign currency. Clear? And holds funds in the foreign currency. Clear? Permanently we can say that because either basically they have not maintained these funds basically in Indian accounts. Clear? Or we can say that have permanently returned to India and holds funds basically in the foreign currency. Clear? And hold funds in the foreign currency. So please tell fast now. All these points are clear to all of you what I have discussed till now. Please respond fast if you have any doubt, any query. Hope this help us to understand many of the important points regarding these different types of account. Clear? Just we have to understand the scenario or what type of the scenario is going on the basis of that basically we have to answer the question. Now move to the next some basic questions. Question number 113 basically present on your screens now. What this question says that OCBs have been completely de-recognized. Clear? I think we have not discussed this point earlier. OCBs basically, overseas commercial borrowing, have been completely de-recognized as an investor class by the Reserve Bank of India. Clear? Basically by the Reserve Bank of India basically with effect from November 29, 2001, September 16, 2003, December 29, 2004 and March 31, 2005. Clear? And March 31, 2005. Clear? So when the overseas commercial borrowings basically have been completely de-recognized as an investor class by Reserve Bank of India basically with effect from 16th of September 2003. Clear? So what is the correct answer? That is 16th of September 2003. Okay, so this one is the correct answer here. Now move to the next question. We have already discussed this point and some student basically, yesterday one student have sent this question to me. Basically they have doubt in that. Clear? So Patterson Private Limited. Clear? Patterson Private Limited is basically a South African company. Clear? Patterson Private Limited basically a South African company wants to execute a contract in India. Clear? Basically that is any foreign company basically wants to do any contract or business in India, for which they need a bank account. Clear? Because this is a company. Clear? Because this is a company, not a person. So for a company basically current account is to be open. Clear? For a company basically current account is to be open. Clear? So Patterson Private Limited basically a South African company wants to execute a contract in India, for which they need a bank account. Which of the following can be suggested to them? EEFC, exchange earner foreign currency account, SNRR account, DD account, DDA diamond dollar account, or none of the above. Clear? Or none of the above. Clear? So please tell fast which account is to be opened by that person. Clear? Please tell fast basically which account is to be opened by that person. That is SNRR account. Clear? That is to basically SNRR account. Clear? So please tell fast what is the full form of the SNRR account. That is special non-resident pay account. Clear? Special non-resident rupee account. That account has to be maintained in that currency, basically in which country is to be has to be open. Clear? In which country basically that account has to be open, basically they have to maintain in that local currency. Now move to the next question. When banks open their branches basically in another country or countries, clear? Basically when banks open their branches basically in another country or countries, they are designated as, clear? Basically they are designated as foreign branches are subjected to, clear? Basically which rules are to be followed on them. First one is the host country banking rules. Second one is the home country banking rules. Clear? Basically please tell fast. Foreign branches are subject to, clear? Basically which rules are to be implemented on them. Clear? Basically which rules are to be implemented on them. Host country banking rules, home country banking rules. First one is only A, only B, A or B, or both A and B. Clear? Like if any, like Indian bank, if any Indian bank, not Indian bank, basically we can say that basically for any Indian country bank is operating in other country, clear? So they have to follow the both rules, clear? Basically RBI rules also, and as well as the basically that country rules also, clear? Basically in which basically that bank is operating, clear? Basically in which that bank is operating. So both, the correct answer here is to be, that is A and B both, clear? That is A and B both. Okay, so please remember all the things. Basically next two questions, basically this next question, question number 116. Dash is a computerized network developed by the New York Clearing House Association. Clear? Basically Dash is a computerized network developed by the New York Clearing House Association, basically for transfer of international dollar payments. Clear? Basically for transfer of international dollar payments. Clear? First one is the target, second one is the Fedwire, third one is the CHAPS, CHAPS, fourth one is the CHIPS. Clear? Fourth one is the CHIPS, CHIPS. Clear? So which one is the computerized network developed by the New York Clearing House Association for transfer of international dollar payments? Clear? Basically for what? For the transfer of international dollar payments. Clear? That is the CHIPS. Clear? Basically that is the CHIPS. This is the New York Clearing, and this one is basically CHAPS. Basically it is in the London. CHAPS basically it is basically London, and CHIPS basically in the New York. Clear? CHIPS basically it is in the New York. Clear? So in this session, basically I have to discuss up to this much point, basically these two questions. Question number 17, 117. So I will discuss that one also, not an issue. So what is the concept of correspondent banking in foreign exchange transaction? Clear? So what is the concept of, clear? So what is the concept of basically foreign exchange? Sorry, concept of corresponding banking basically in the foreign exchange transactions. First one is central banks basically in the foreign countries regulating the business done by entities located in other countries. The acquaintances of the bank in the foreign countries basically acting as drawing in the case of need. Clear? That is basically if we are maintaining any relationship basically with any other bank, clear, in other country, clear, basically for our work, clear? That is basically we can say that the acquaintances of the bank in the foreign country basically acting as drawing in the case of need. Third one here basically a practice where banks in foreign country, clear, a practice basically where banks in foreign country protect their customers against litigation. Clear? Protect their customers basically against litigation from their business counterparts in other countries. Fourth one is none of the above. Clear? Basically fourth one is none of the above. Clear? So basically what is the concept of corresponding banking? Clear? The correct answer is to be option number B. That is the acquaintance of the banks. Clear? The acquaintance of the banks basically in the foreign country acting as drawing basically in the case of need. Clear? Basically acting as drawing basically in the case of need. Clear? So whenever basically there is a requirement, they will help that bank. Clear? Basically they will help that bank. That is basically the concept of the correspondent banking. Clear? That is basically concept of the correspondent banking. Clear? So option number B is the correct answer. Clear? Option number B is the correct answer. So in this session, basically, we have to discuss up to this much point. Hope all the important points regarding the different types of account. This is very, very important. Clear in this chapter, basically, these are the different types of account. It is very, very important for the examination purpose, examination point of view. Clear? Hope it is clear to all of you, whatever we have discussed. So thanks to all of you for joining this session.